Hey everyone, what is going on? Welcome back to another video in CyberLabz series. I believe this is part 5. Sorry I took a little time off, super busy with a lot of things, trying to catch up on work, life, and family. But hey, here we are. So we're going to pick back up where we left off, and I believe it was we had a foothold on the DMZ server, 2016 server. If you watched the previous video, we were kind of bouncing back and forth between Metasploit, Sliver, and Empire. Ultimately, after much deliberation, I think I wanted to stick with Sliver just because of some features that I find impressive, along with like Armory and the extensions with Armory, and being able to have an interactive shell with Beacon and in session, and obviously the proxy chain, stocks proxy is a must-have. So I decided to stick with Sliver probably through the duration of the rest of these little mini series. But yeah, let's go ahead and pick back up where we left off. So here we have our foothold on the 2016 server, right? And our goal is to try and jump into a different part of the domain and maybe try some different avenues, potentially try to Privesk as well, bypass UAC. I've been reading some really cool articles lately on how to do that. They're probably very out of date, but nonetheless very cool to practice and see what we can come up with. So let's go ahead and jump on over to our terminal now. I have a VPN connection into my CyberLabz, and here I have a session established to my Kali and have Sliver up and running. And we'll go ahead and kind of just like walk through how this is set up. So here's my profile that I have. It's my new profile that I've named No Games, and it can set the jitter and the seconds and the timeout and some evasion flags. And we'll start with the MTLS. Well, this will designate the MTLS protocol for this IP and port. And this is my profile that I'm going to save that I can use in the future, right? And so then I'm going to go ahead and stage my listener, HTTPS, and this IP here. And then I'm going to designate my node profile. So this is kind of like the stage 1 piece, really. And then I need to go ahead and start that listener up for my profile, so that when the second part comes back, it has an IP and port open for that profile that we've created, so we can go ahead and establish that beacon connection, right? And then you can go ahead and generate beacons and save them in certain directories. You can generate them off of certain profiles that you've created. So very malleable. Still trying to figure out all the ins and outs of Sliver. There's so many features, but it's definitely a tool that has a lot of robust feature to it. Very feature rich, in my opinion, minus a GUI, but hey, each his own, right? If you want to learn how to actually install Sliver as a service, I think Dominic, this person right here, if you go to Bishop Fox's GitHub for Sliver, there's a lot of community guides here, and you can go on over to this link here and understand a little bit more in depth on some ways you can use Sliver and install it as a service and things of that nature. And then it goes over a different aspects of the C2 framework. So I find this very valuable, really good to read, and I like it a lot. So yeah, just kind of like some resources right there for you. So here we are, we have our beacon now. As you'll see here, this is the 200.10.10.100 IP. If you recall, back in like the first series, that 200 IP was the actual frontward facing WAN IP to the Cyberport webpage. And so what happens is we were tunneling our way through the network, and once we got over here to the server, all the traffic has one egress point, right, which is through that WAN interface. So anything that comes out of the DMZ will be natted, and it'll go out to 200.10.10.100, right? Because when we hit the Cyberport webpage, we were hitting that .100, and it was natting us down into the DMZ. And there were some of the flaws that we took advantage of and kind of made our way around into a few various different machines and did scanning and pivoting and things like that. So just for some reference, that's what the this IP is. That's the WAN IP. So what we can do is just go ahead and go use, and we can just do info to kind of see what we have. And here we have our implant name, Impress Department. Here's the host name here. It's a Windows machine, and it's a server 2016, right? In the previous video, you would have seen that we use various different tools such as Npacket and things like that to use credentials that we had to be able to spawn a new beacon callback using Empire. Like I said, I decided to kind of move away from Empire, and it really wasn't fitting all the things that I needed, and this is why I'm using Sliver, right? So yep, you can type info, and if you wanted to, you can do like execute and outputs, and we'll just do like IP config all. I believe it's like that. Okay, yeah, here we go. Yep, and we can just execute that command, and it'll give us back the output in our terminal here. So as you can see, the actual IP of the machine is 199.200.15.138. And I believe, so I'm in TMUX session right now, so things might look a little weird, but if you look up right here, we are user Larry on this 2016 server that's in the DMZ. It doesn't, I don't think it's domain joined to anything. So what we need to do is kind of like gather some initial or some additional information on connections and whatnot to maybe gain some context on, you know, where we can go from there. But we are user Larry, and we're not in a, you know, a high integrity context. So we may need to try to, if we want to privest, we could take advantage of the OS in a few different ways. Either we're going to look for services that are vulnerable, patches that are out of date, things like that, and we could use SOX proxy to potentially throw exploits through our proxy connection to the host, or we could do some compilation on the host itself. But before we do any of that, we need to just gain more additional information about what's all running on the host, right? So we can just do what we can do right here. Just go ahead and queue, and here we are. So we can go interactive for now, and it's as simple as just interactive. Oops. No, not in there. Yeah, there we go. Sorry. Yeah, interactive, and tab that out. We should get a session back. So there's our session. So we can just use 9.8. Yeah, there we go. And what we can do is, so this session is kind of like live. It's like a whole TCP open stream. It's not closing, so it's just one live or one just open connection, right? So what we can do is we can just do a shell. Now I don't advise this. This is an OPSEC safe, and actually before you drop into a shell, it says, hey, are you an adult? So yeah, sure. But let's go ahead and just do some simple, we know what the system information is, so system info. And we should get that back fairly quickly. We just gather some other, you know, here some patches that we have, yada yada yada, so on and so forth. And then we can do like netstat, attack A&O, and kind of look through this. And in the last episode, we saw that there was a 10.10.200.25 connection connected to the .138. So it would appear that we have some sort of RDP connection Now this is something that happens often. There are misconfigurations to where systems and parts of network shouldn't be able to talk to other systems. Admins get lazy. As you saw, we've been taking advantage of one particular user, Larry, using his credentials to kind of pivot around the network. And in real life, that's probably how it would be. You would have someone's credentials who just have the keys to pretty much everything, which just ruins the environment, right? And they're making changes on the fly, not doing their due diligence. So yeah, and right here also you can see that we have our connections to our C2 server, right? So we do have an RDP connection, so I think we could do like query B, or we got query user, yeah. Yep. Okay, so we do actually have Larry who's logged on and active right now on this box. So let's see what else we have on here. Oh, it looks like Defender or some flavor of it. Probably very out-of-date Defender if it's 2016 server, in my opinion. Service host, PowerShell, MP command run, and no sysmon, no other kind of EDR that I could see. Yeah, so it looks pretty plain to me. So let's try something. Let's go ahead and Control D. Let's get out of this. Kind of know what's on here, what patches we have, who's logged on. We may want to look into privilege escalation at this point, right? So let's just Control D, and we'll just go to background if you want, and you can look at your beacons and you can look at your sessions to see what you have, right? So Larry, we have one beacon and one session. So I was reading an article the other day, and it was this UAC bypass for CMS TP. Here MITRE has attack ID laid to it, system binary proxy execution. And I found out a cool article here with some folks who were experimenting with it. So I wanted to try this out to see if it would work. I read through a lot of the code. It seemed pretty standard, nothing too out of the ordinary. And then I got down to this part. I was like, just like it was packaged all up for us right here. So essentially what we're going to do, we're going to try to bypass UAC. And let's see here. See here, function bypass UAC. Now we get automation, create PowerShell script to exploit this technique. Okay. There's that there. And it looks like once that's loaded, you can then run. Here they have it running command.exe, and it looks like they got an admin command prompt. Just take this real quick. Let's go ahead and save it for now. We'll come back over here. Let's go here and Victor injects. Go to injects, working directory, nano. Let's see here. C, what was that called? Let's do UHC.ps1. Yeah. Let's go ahead and paste that in there. Go ahead and save that for now. All right. Let's see, read a little bit more about it. Looks like they tested it on Windows 10. But this is a 2016 server. Actually, let's look at. Oh, here it is. So looks like they ran the script here. So let's do a who am I priv on Larry on the server, right? So let's just use beacon one, and let's see here, execute back O, Where am I? And then rip, right? And we'll get that output. It looks like we have some elevated privileges. Actually, we shut down system disabled. Not a lot of privileges, it doesn't seem like. Bypass reverse checking. Just do who am I? All. Okay. Let's see here. Everyone. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's a lot of privileges to Larry, so to speak. Yeah. So we definitely want to try to bypass UAC and elevate if we can. So let's look at that right here. Looks like they named it CMSTP TAC UAC. And then they just ran bypass UAC in the command. But we want a callback to our C2 server in a higher context. So let's do this. Let's upload this script. And then we'll upload our binary. And then we will try to see if we can execute that, right? So let's do this. Yeah, that should be pretty easy, I think. So, all right, let's go back over here to Sliver, and we're going to use this. Make sure that we have our directory, root index, UAC, PS1, and then wherever we want to put it. We know we're Larry, so that shouldn't be too much of an issue there. So let's go ahead and upload, and it's going to be root index. UAC PS1, I believe, like that. And then you also want to designate the spot where we're going to put it right on the actual target. All right, so users, Larry, and then we're going to name it UAC.PS1. I think that should be good. Permission denied. Let's go back over here. Let's do this. Looks like this is root. Oh, I think I started up Sliver in different contexts. So let's use Hackerman, and let's see, just do sudo chown. Yeah, do sudo chown. Let's do that right there. Okay. Maybe that takes care of that permission issue. Let's see, root index UIC permission denied. I wonder why. I made it as root before, but whatever. Is that good? No. Don't understand. Huh. Okay, that's kind of weird. What? Come on, man. I wonder if like this. So mission denied. Very interesting. So Hackerman owns it. Well, again, I guess. Do this. SU. What? Okay. Sudo su. Alright, and then chaunt. check our root. CPS1. That should be good now. I don't know why I'm getting hung up on this. Oh my goodness. I wonder why. You know what? Maybe because it can't go to that directory. Maybe because I started Sliver up as HackerMan, not root. So no big deal. Let's just move UAC to home. HackerMan. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Home. HackerMan. Take me there. Okay. And we'll just show. Yeah, we'll show like this. No. All right. Is that better now? Let's just see. Still not better. Oh wait, no, it's not in there. So it's here now. So here. Yeah, so this should be good. Okay. Wow, what a newbie thing to do. Okay, so the UAC file is there on the endpoint now. Had some permission issues. Probably should have looked at that earlier, but whatever. Okay, so next we need to look at implants real quick. So here we have impressed department and applicable disease. Those both sound very appealing. But we probably need to, let's see, let's go ahead and do this. Let's upload impressed department. Yeah, so go over here. Nope. All right. Root. Let's see here. Where did I say this to? Actually, with the home. Yeah. So here's impressed department there. All right, so we have that. Let's go ahead and upload. You know what? Actually, what we did was we uploaded impressed department, but we changed it to update.exe because these names stand out like crazy. So we didn't want that to show. So let's just go back to here. And if you want to do that, I wonder if we could just do execute taco ls list the directory output. Nah, can't do that. No worries. So let's go ahead and we want to go to our interactive session for now. And like I said, just list beacons and session, and we're just all user Larry for now. So let's go ahead and use our session. We'll drop into a shell real quick. We'll go ls, and you can see here's our update, and here's our UAC PS1. So if I'm not mistaken, looking at the article, it looks like they just execute that UAC bypass PS1. This probably wouldn't work on a up-to-date Windows Defender machine, but 2016 server sitting in the DMZ, we'll roll the dice. And then bypass UAC command. So let's just do that real quick. So here, I wonder if we can do it like this. Hopefully this doesn't crap out on us, but yeah. Oops, do this. Yeah, PS1. Okay, so we did that. And then we want to go ahead and I believe it's going to be bypass UAC. I think we're going to want to designate the entire path. for the executable that we have. Update.exe. If I'm not mistaken, right? That looks about right. Fingers crossed, no whammies. Okay, so payload file written to temp directory. Let's hope that we were able to bypass UAC and get a callback in a higher state, right? We'll see. Oh, boom, there we are. Nice, nice, nice. Oh wait, there's some kind of wonky thing right here. Okay, so it's just Control D, get out of here. And what do we have? What do we have? Let's see here. So, there. Now, I think we bypass UAC 493 DDA. That's our new beacon right there. Let's see if we can do a get system right there. So let's use 49. And I think we have to do a get system as an interactive shell, or excuse me, interactive session. Yeah, so we need to go interactive. And let's do this quick so that we can kill some other sessions of beacons so we're not like all over the place, right? So let's go to 16 here. Let's get system. Boom, there we are. We got system. Yep, NT authority system right there. So that really worked. That was pretty cool. I like that. Let's go ahead, check this out. Yeah, still alive. So let's go ahead and beacons, tag kill. And I think we can do it by this ID here. Let's kill that one. Yep, so killed that one. And then let's kill the other one. We only need one right now. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so active session is disconnected, but we have our beacon, which is NT authority system. And then we can just do like a beacons, RM, tag T1. And we can say, let's not get rid of that one. Yep, we'll get rid of this one. And we'll get rid of that one. Kind of clear things up a little bit so we're all nice and neat. There we are. Okay. And then sessions, we can look at sessions real quick. And we have no sessions. We have our beacon, right? Which is what we want. So we were able to bypass UAC and elevate and get a beacon callback. Let's do this. Let's go over to security onion and see what we have. So we saw that there was a PowerShell script transferred over. Here we are here, but this was something between our lab. So this all looks like there was standard stuff going on. You can see some sysmon configs. Looks like there's probably some GPOs in deployment. So nothing too crazy there. Let's go back over here and go ahead and drill down on here. And yeah, we'll just see things being passed back and forth in our CyberLabz environment. Let's tune into here. And last 8 hours, let's do last 8 minutes. And here we can see our C2 server communicating to the 138 and out of the WAN right there. So we might, lay low and slow it down a little bit, but we do have that connection out to our C2, and we also have a NT authority system beacon right now. So that's like a win-win. So now let's see if we can do, we did some privilege escalation. Let's see if we can do some potential lateral movement. A way we could go about that is maybe just straight up using PowerShell, not getting too fancy. Let's go ahead back over here and let's use our beacon, and let's do interactive, because I want a session so I can drop into a shell so that I can potentially do some invoking, right? So let's go ahead and use this right here. Let's do a shell real quick. And yes. All right. Now, what we do know right now, let's see. Who am I? The term. Who am I? Who am I? There we are. We do know that we're NT Authority system, but what we need to remember is that we have credentials, and more importantly, we have Larry's credentials, right? So we can see potentially Larry, who has an RDP connection right now, is using the same set of credentials that he has been throughout the environment, right? So let's see if we can do some lateral movement. It's always good to make sure that you have some notes, that you're not, fat fingering things on the fly. So here I'm going to create some variables. I'm going to use Larry's password, the best pass ever, and I'm going to save it to that security password variable there. So boom, there we are. And now we want to go ahead and make the credentials a new object. So here. All right, and we know that based off our reconnaissance on the Confluence, or excuse me, the WordPress server, that there was a corp, cyber corp, and we have Larry, right? So we can kind of put the two together. We know that it's corp CyberLabz.local, and this is just came with time through our recon, right? So this is the next step and the evolution of hopefully figuring out if we can get further into the environment. And we also know, if we want to look real quick, the netstat ANO, we have this connection right here, this 10.10.200.25. So what we want to do real quick is we want to see if we can target that host and see if we can use Larry's credentials and do it just a who am I on the endpoint, right? To see if we can at least access it. We'll let that run and see what we have. And boom, there we are. We actually have command execution on 10.10.200.25 using Larry's credentials. So here we are in the next evolution. We can now do some lateral movement. So how do we go about doing that? Well, we need to think operational security, but for the time being, we don't have to get too fancy. We don't know what all they have laid inside the environment. It could be EDR, it could be, we saw a security onion scene that Sysmon GPOs are being deployed, so most likely they have Sysmon. But just for the sake of demonstration, we're just going to throw caution to the wind, and we're going to see if we can get execution on that host and get a callback from this 10.10.200.25. We need to pivot and move into that environment, right? So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to use our impressed apartment, but we're going to outfile it to something different. But before we do that, we need to go ahead and serve it up, right? So we go ahead and serve it up over 8080. Oh, it looks like this is already being served here. So we'll go ahead and serve this up over 8080. And actually, just make sure we're there. Yep, good to go. 8080. And let's list this one more time. Yep, make sure I got this here. Okay, impressed apartment, got you. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a like a wget using the credentials that we have from Larry. You saw how we were able to do a who am I, but we're going to use their credentials to see if we can do a wget and output that to a different file, right? and we'll just call it like update or something like that. So we're going to use our same session real quick that we have with Sliver here, and we're going to do invoke command, that endpoint computer name, the credentials that we have. We're actually going to point this. Oops. Oh no. Are we still good? Let's see if we're still good. We're still good. Okay. That was most unfortunate. So let's do this. All right. Shell. Oops, sorry. Let's do this here. Oh no, actually. Yeah. And let's do shell. And yes. Let's just repeat our steps here. Boom. And let's do this. Boom. Oops. Looks like we fat fingered something there. Let's do this. Oh, let's see here. Cred. Okay, there we are. And let's just make sure that we're pulling this down from the right IP, right? So just go ahead and copy my notes here. Copy here. And let's do that. And let's see, is that all right? Oh, you know what? I did not wrap that right there like I was supposed to. There's no big deal. Here, just one more time, boom. And we'll use our credentials and the domain context. Boom. And let's make sure I copy this correctly one last time. Okay, that looks good. All right, if all goes well, boom, there we are. We have a get from there. And now we need to execute that command, or excuse me, that binary to hopefully we get a callback, right? So let's go ahead and do that while we are hot. And boom. Execute the update.exe, and hopefully we get a callback to our C2. All right, let's see here. Boom, we do. We actually get a callback. So we can do Control D and beacons, and there we are. We have port user. We have Larry. We are now into the corp CyberLabz domain, and this is where things get real interesting as far as Active Directory and things like that. We finally jumped from the DMZ into a subnet that had a misconfiguration, that had a user, had an RDP session, that we were able to look at the netstat information and gather that, and then invoke some commands with some credentials that we have to jump into that environment. So in the next video, we're going to be continuing to use Sliver, and we're going to take advantage of the armory and the extensions and see if we can do some Active Directory reconnaissance, and see if we can do some domain takeover and some ticket foraging and all that kind of good Active Directory stuff. So I hope to see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.